Hi and bye, but we're only getting started. Hi and bye. Made a path and now it's charted. This way to Bobby Youngblood's planet Acorn.
Watusi. Love it.
Let's do the Watusi.
Love it.
Here with Alex Kraft.
Hello.
Yay. Hi,
Hi.
Alex.
Hi.
So Alex is, of course, a local Dahlonega, Lumpkin County potter and pottery professor.
Yes,
And
I am.
You are.
Well, but I mean, also even me thinking about when I'm creating a mug, for example, or a tumbler, I'm really thinking about how the person who holds that and then drinks from it, what their experience is going to be. So even an kind of open mug versus a closed-in mug, inviting different things. How does the handle feel in your hand when you put your lips to the mug? Is that inviting? So all of these different things about handmade pottery.
That the functionality.
Yes.
Like really, like, do you go as far as right away imagining what kind of liquid is going to go inside of a thing, or what kind of anything is inside?
Sometimes I do. Yeah. Well, definitely. I talk to my students when I show them a bowl demo to start them out with, a closed form might be the perfect thing for a warm, cozy night for a bowl of soup, versus a wide open form might give you a beautiful salad bowl or even a pasta bowl. How about fruit punch? That might be in a lovely punch bowl. So just thinking about the different ways of all these forms that we might call bowl, but then how did they exist in your life?
Right. You are taking it to not only, so that went beyond functionality. It went from functionality to art, and then also psychology, like the inward, the warmth. And that's pretty cool.
Do you already have in mind what you're gonna make?
How about I make some kind of a cylinder?
You probably have a very strong back.
You should be using your whole body, because if you're only using this, you're going to really hurt your wrists. Yeah. So the force should be coming from your whole body.
What drew you to pottery?
My dad jokes that my first words were "Mama, Art, Dad." So I've always been an artist. I started doing clay in kids camp in the summertime in Tucson, Arizona, where I grew up. And it just has always been, I don't know, just part of me. So I'm pulling up my walls and I'm refining and getting them to an even 1/4 inch thickness. Now I am starting to resolve the form, add some curves. Because I also am really big into decorating. I take forever decorating my pots and my sculptural forms, and I love all clay. I mean, I actually used to be forever more of a hand builder, and then now I really love throwing. It's slip casting and just everything clay. I love all art, and I'm a clay lady. Of work, I'm using a brown speckled clay body right now. Pretty excited about it. I often work with porcelain, and it's really fun to just change clay bodies sometimes and do something different. So now I'm just cleaning up the bottom of this, and all of this clay that I'm pulling away is clay that I can recycle and reuse. So that's kind of another.
Where does this clay come from?
There's some elements of this probably comes from Georgia. This is going to be a secret recipe of this particular clay company.
The wire just do?
The wire just helps basically cut the clay from the board so that when I go to pull the piece off of the board later, it will be a lot easier to pull it off. I'm centering the clay, so I slam the ball of clay down. Now I'm patting it to center, applying water to my hands, going top speed, and I'm pushing the clay away from me across towards the side of the room. And you can see how the clay is pushing out. I'm allowing the rotation of the wheel to help me to center the clay as I push forward and over the form. Now I'm going down and back up again, down again. And you can see here I'm giving an example of going off center, and it's all about keeping yourself totally locked in place and allowing that clay to center itself.
When you book me for a party, you're not just getting someone in a costume. You're getting a custom-made experience designed just for you or your child and their friends. I build puzzles, design treasure hunts, invent characters. I create experiences.
And then when you have all the treasure and everybody holds some treasure, you bring it all back to me, okay? Deal? Do you understand? High fives.
Moments that you'll talk about long after the cake is gone.
This on in colors. You do? Let's see if these can go together. Oh, we're so close to see the princess. Where's the last piece? Who has the last piece?
This isn't off-the-shelf entertainment.
And it says happy birthday, Adelaide, and what? What? You guys? What? Oh my gosh!
You are a princess!
I'm a princess!
It's storytelling, magic, and real care. From the first idea to the final goodbye. Because every party deserves to feel like a one-of-a-kind adventure.
Work with the clay. Sometimes the clay says, well, I want a little bit of room to move too. So it's a dance between you and the material. Now I'm going to put a hole into my tuna can. And I'm going to start to pull out. Because I'm making a curved bowl, I'm going to start to pull and curve at the same time. Now I'm going to start to pull up the clay wall. I'm so happy with how these bowls came out. Yay. Yeah, this whole body of work I'm really, really excited about. My upper fingers are above my lower fingers. I'm pulling and pushing with my inside hand, and pushing it back in and up with my outside hand. If I was making a cylinder, I'd be really trying to keep it in. With the bowl, I'm going to keep it relatively upright, but trying to create a little bit of a curve on the interior. Pulling back down, compressing as I go.
It's coming to life.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and show you now. Throwing with 2 sponges. Sometimes I like to do this. It's a funny thing, your fingertips have so many nerve endings. Sometimes it's a good thing to throw with a knuckle on one side or 2 sponges. Keeps your clay hydrated, but it also, I find sometimes I actually throw faster and thinner when I'm not always doing my fingertips. So I do a combination. I am a lefty, so I throw on the left side of the wheel, but I was actually taught right-handed in my undergrad, so I threw on the right-hand side of the wheel forever. So these days I teach my students both ways, and I let them kind of figure out what's best for them, especially because in much of the world, it's reversed. A lot of people in certain parts of Asia throw like I'm doing on this left side of the wheel if they're right-handed. Trying to get it to about a You know, usually I'm thinking about a 1/4 inch to a 1/3 inch thickness. This is a bigger bowl, so I'm going to keep it a little tiny bit on the thicker side at the bottom so it doesn't collapse. Also looking at my overall shape. And now I'm going to start to move into more subtlety in the form, so that in making sure I've got a nice interior curve and exterior curve. And you can also notice that I'm going slower with the wheel. Sideways rib I want to use. So if I was going very fast right now, I would easily end up spinning this bowl flat. Whoops! Look at that! I just messed up the top. Spinning this bowl flat, but by going a little slow as we get further along.
When or how did you decide to start teaching?
Well, I knew I wanted to be an artist since I was a kid, and then it just kind of came naturally to me. I enjoy hanging out with other people and teaching them what I know and learning from them. So when I was an undergrad, I was in my ceramics classes, and my main professor had to go to help her mom on an emergency visit and left me in charge for the week for her classes. And it was life-changing for me because I really realized that I like teaching. I love being an artist, and it turns out I also love teaching. And so that put me on that path. So I did 6 years in undergrad, getting my BFA, and then also getting a second degree in art ed. And then from there, I went on to get my MFA.
What happens in your mind at that first moment that you throw the clay on that little spinning wheel?
You know, it depends on which ball of clay. The first one down is probably just, I get to be back in my happy place. You know, you just really want to think about what is that lip? What is the functionality of that lip? If I'm thinking about something someone's going to drink out of, some of these up here, I'm going to have a very different idea of what I want in a lip. And then also thinking about, what is that bowl going to be for? Is that bowl a wide pasta sort of a dish bowl? Or is it a soup bowl? Or is it cauldron kind of a bowl? Everything's situated, I'm ready to go. And if I'm working production potting, then it's just kind of the next one and the next one, and getting in that rhythm of slamming it down, throwing it, moving it on to the next one, to the next one. So the rhythm of it, really. And I love to decorate. That's a big part of my practice is once the forms are leather hard, then I trim the forms if they need trimming. And then I move into all of my decorative processes. And so that's really another meditation in a way of being able to come into drawing on my pots, painting on my pots, incising, line and color, and then firing those pots first in the bisque, and then more glazing, and then firing it again in the second kiln. So throughout the whole thing, you have chemistry, and you have fire, and you have expectations that are sometimes met. Sometimes it's Christmas or Hanukkah, sometimes it's not. And it's just kind of, no matter what, even though I've been at this for years and years, I open the kiln and there is still always magic and hope and excitement when you see what's coming out of the kiln.
Any advice for anybody who's out there who has maybe just like, I want to try pottery, but is there anything you want to say to them?
I definitely think you should try it. It's a joy, and hand building, wheel throwing, slip casting, all of it. I can plug the Quinlan, which is in Gainesville. They have a great ceramic studio downstairs, and my recent grads are instructors there. So that's been a really great thing. Hoping we get more and more clay happening in Dahlonega. Hopefully someday soon we'll have a clay studio for the community.
Kapow-zing! Kapow! Boom. Thank you, Alex Kraft.
Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. This was great. Yay!
Boom.
Thank